Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Sodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradari Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Prabhu Jankacharya Astajasa Srishiman, His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Vananta Gauda Vaishnava Ki Jai. Nama Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Prem Sri Gaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasudeva Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Samakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavanam Ki Jai, Shri Maya Punavidam Ki Jai, Ganga Maya Ki Jai, Jamuna Maya Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Gop Hemanandi. All glories some devotees, all glories some devotees, all glories some devotees, all glories, Shri Shri Guru and Shri Guru. Okay.
That's right, okay.
This one here.
Yeah,
oh, okay. Okay, so this is not the right verse.
No, right. This is right, though.
Yeah, yeah. So, half is right. So you have, how many you have devices here? I think, if anybody doesn't, you can team up with somebody else. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this morning we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 4. Text number 45. Putran Ripati Kulan Swan Pitara Putra Vatsala Rupalabhante Shikshartam Naivagam Aparo Yata Putram Vipra Tikulan Swan Pitara Putra Vatsalaha Upalabhante Sikshartam Naivagham Aparoyata Putran Vipa Putram Vipati Kulang Svan Pitaram Putavatsalaha Upalabante Siksartam Navagham Aparoyata Putran Viprati Svan Pitaram Putavatsalaha Upalavante Siksartam Navagham Aparoyata
Putran Vipatikulan Svan Upalavante Siksartam Navagham Aparoyata Putran Vipatikulan Svan Pitara Putravatsalaha Upalavante Siksartam Navagham Aparoyata Putran Vipatikulan Svan Pitara Putravatsalaha Palavante Siksartam Navagham Aparoyata Putran Vipatikulan Svan Pitara Putravatsalaha Palavante Siksartam Navagham Aparoyata
Putran, sons, Vipratikulan, who act against the will of the father. Swan, their own. Pitaraha, fathers. Putravatsalaha, being very affectionate to the children. Upalavante, chastise. Siksartam, to teach them lessons. Na, not. Eva, indeed. Agham, punishment. Aparaha, an enemy. Yata, like. Translation. So there's no purport. We'll go on to the next, and we'll actually go on to the next chapter. A father and mother are always affectionate to their children. When the children are disobedient, the parents chastise them, not due to enmity, but only for the child's instruction and welfare. How did Hiraṇyakaśipu, the father of Prahlāda Mahārāja, chastise such a noble son? This is what I am eager to know. Text 46. Maharaj Yudhisthira further inquired, how was it possible for a father to be so violent toward an exalted son who was obedient, well-behaved, and respectful to his father? O Brahmana, O Master, I have never heard of such a contradiction as an affectionate father's punishing his noble son with the intention of killing him. Kindly dissipate our doubts in this regard. Purport. In the history of human society, an affectionate father is rarely found to chastise a noble and devoted son. Therefore, Maharaj Yudhisthira wanted Narada Muni to dissipate his doubts. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport to the 7th canto, 4th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Hiraṇyakaśipu terrorizes the universe, is text number 5. Prahlāda Mahārāja, the saintly son of Hiraṇyakaśipu. Summary. Prahlāda Mahārāja did not carry out the orders of his teachers, for he was always engaged in worshipping Lord Viṣṇu. As described in this chapter, Hiraṇyakaśipu tried to kill Prahlāda Mahārāja, even by having a snake bite him and by putting him under the feet of elephants, yet he was unsuccessful. Hiraṇyakaśipu's spiritual master Sukracharya had 2 sons named Sunda and Amarka, to whom Prahlāda Mahārāja was entrusted for education. Although the teachers tried to educate the boy Prahlāda in politics, economics, and other material activities, he did not care for their instructions. Instead, he continued to be a pure devotee. Prahlāda Mahārāja never liked the idea of discriminating between one's friends and enemies. Because he was spiritually inclined, he was equal toward everyone. Once upon a time, Hiraṇyakaśipu inquired from his son what the best thing was that he had learned from his teachers. Prahlāda Mahārāja replied that a man engrossed in the material consciousness of duality, thinking, "This is mine, and that belongs to my enemy," should give up his householder life and go to the forest to worship the Supreme Lord. When Hiraṇyakaśipu heard from his son about devotional service, he decided that this small boy had been polluted by a friend in school. Thus he advised the teachers to take care of the boy so that he would not become a Krishna-conscious devotee. However, when the teachers inquired from Prahlāda Mahārāja why he was going against their teachings, Prahlāda Mahārāja taught the teachers that the mentality of ownership is false, and that he was therefore trying to become an unalloyed devotee of Lord Viṣṇu. The teachers, being very angry at this answer, chastised and threatened the boy with many fearful conditions. They taught him to, they taught him to the best of their ability, and then brought him before his father. Hiraṇyakaśipu affectionately took his son Prahlāda on his lap and then inquired from him what the best thing was he had learned from his teachers. As usual, Prahlāda Mahārāja began praising the 9 processes of devotional service, such as Shravanam and Kirtanam. Thus the king of the demons, Hiraṇyakaśipu, being extremely angry, chastised the teachers, Sunda and Amarka, for having wrongly trained Prahlāda Mahārāja. The so-called teachers informed the king that Prahlāda Mahārāja was automatically a devotee and did not listen to their instructions. When they proved themselves innocent, Hiraṇyakaśipu inquired from Prahlāda where he had learned Viṣṇu Bhakti. Prahlāda Mahārāja replied that those who are attached to family life do not develop Krishna consciousness, either personally or collectively. Instead, they suffer repeated births and deaths in this material world and continue simply chewing the chewed. Prahlāda explained that the duty of every man is to take shelter of a pure devotee and thus become eligible to understand Krishna consciousness. Enraged at this answer, Hiraṇyakaśipu threw Prahlāda Mahārāja from his lap, since Prahlāda was so treacherous that he had become a devotee of Viṣṇu, who had killed his uncle Hiraṇyaksha. Hiraṇyakaśipu asked his assistants to kill him. The assistants of Hiraṇyakaśipu struck Prahlāda with sharp weapons, threw him under the feet of elephants, subjected him to hellish conditions, threw him from the peak of a mountain, and tried to kill him in thousands of other ways. Thousands of other ways. Wow. Pretty demoniac, huh? But they were unsuccessful. Hiraṇyakaśipu therefore became increasingly afraid of his son, Prahlāda Mahārāja, and arrested him. The sons of Hiraṇyakaśipu, spiritual master Sukracharya, began teaching Prahlāda in their own way. But Prahlāda Mahārāja did not accept their instructions. While the teachers were absent from the classroom, Prahlāda Mahārāja began to preach Krishna consciousness in the school, and by his instructions all his class friends, the sons of the demons, became devotees like him. That's pretty good turnover, 100%. They all became devotees. That's the Shakti of a pure devotee. Om Jnana Tamanandasya Gyananjana Slakaya Chakshur Militam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukram Kotravachalang Bhangun Manghayate Grim Yat Kripa Tadaham Bande Shigurum Dinatadanam Vanchakalpa Trubhyascha Kripa Sandubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Actually, we'll learn this, we'll read this first verse also in this chapter. The great Saint Narada Muni said, the demons, headed by Hiraṇyakaśipu, accepted Sukracharya as their priest for ritualistic ceremonies. Sukracharya's two sons, Sanda and Amarka, lived near Hiraṇyakaśipu's palace. Purport. The beginning of the life story of Prahlāda is recounted as follows. Sukracharya became the priest of the atheists, especially Hiraṇyakaśipu, and thus his two sons, Sanda and Amarka, resided near Hiraṇyakaśipu's residence. Sukracharya should not have become the priest of Hiraṇyakaśipu because Hiraṇyakaśipu and his followers were all atheists. A Brahmana should become the priest of a person interested in the advancement of spiritual culture. The very name Sukracharya, however, indicated a person interested in obtaining benefits for his sons and descendants, regardless of how the money comes. A real Brahmana would not become a priest for an atheistic man. So this is the downfall of Sukracharya. He's a Brahmana, but instead of instructing people who are interested in Krishna consciousness and spiritual life, he's the guru of Hiraṇyakaśipu and family. So, not very auspicious, because Hiraṇyakaśipu, he's not submissive to spiritual instruction, and nor is Sukracharya interested in giving it. So it's all about just getting something for himself, some monetary. And this is very common. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that the present day Brahmanas, they're using the Shaligram Sila to crack nuts. In other words, they're using the Lord for their own sense gratification. So it's the age of Kali. It's said that in the age of Kali, demons take birth in Brahmin families. So, and what's interesting is now we're seeing that devotees are taking birth in Mleccha families, Yavana Mleccha families, which is kind of ironic. Such is the age. There's a statement by Narada Muni in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Asantu sasya viprasya tejo vidya tapo yasaha, that if a Brahmana or a Vaishnava is not satisfied in serving Krishna, then gradually four things diminish. Teja means one's spiritual strength is lost. One takes birth as a Brahman, it's a very auspicious birth where one can gain spiritual strength. But if one is not satisfied in serving Krishna, then he loses that spiritual strength. And spiritual strength is actually it's a great boon to have spiritual strength. And we've seen also in ISKCON, unfortunately, that many devotees became very elevated, powerful preachers, but because they weren't satisfied in serving Krishna, they became distracted and had difficulty, lost their spiritual strength. The Tejo Vidya, knowledge, one loses knowledge. It's like Sukracharya, he was very knowledgeable and knew so much of the Vedas, but he didn't know what was right and what was wrong. And actually in the 16th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, there's the divine and demoniac natures, and that's one of the demoniac natures. They don't know what to do and what not to do. Just like Sukracharya, he was also the spiritual master of Bali Mahārāja. And Vamanadev came in this dwarf incarnation, a very attractive form, and Bali Mahārāja, he was respectful towards the Brahmanas, and he said, hey, anything you want, you can please take. And he said, I'll just take 3 steps of land. He had small feet too, so it's not, couldn't take much. So Balaram Maharaj said, "Oh, you're not very experienced. I can give you anything you want. I have the universe, just anything you want." No. Well, I'll be satisfied. Just give me 3 paces of land. So he did that. But actually, he made the promise. But Shukracharya said, "Don't do it." Don't do it, because he's going to take everything. This is an incarnation of Viṣṇu. He was so attached. Shukracharya was so attached that he told him, "Don't do it." Why? Again, he's concerned about his monetary accomplishments. So he didn't want to lose. He's probably making good money. So he was concerned. So Bali said, "Well, wait, you're my guru. You're supposed to be attracting me to Viṣṇu, but now you're saying I shouldn't do this for Viṣṇu." So he rejected him. The spiritual master is supposed to give guidance to the disciple and how to go to Krishna. And if a spiritual master isn't giving guidance to a disciple to go towards Krishna or towards Viṣṇu, then Prabhupada mentions in one purport he should be rejected. He should be rejected. So Tejo Vidya, Tapo. Tapo means austerity. So if one is not attached to serving Krishna, is not satisfied in serving Krishna, also one loses austerity. And austerity is also, it's a way to get purified by performing austerity. Nayam deho dehabhajam naloke kastam kaman arhate vidbhujanye. Tapo divyang putikayena satvang sudyadhyasmad brahmasokyam tvadantam. Lord Viṣṇu, he says of persons who have accepted material bodies, persons who have accepted the human form, they shouldn't waste their life in engaging in the activities of the animals, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. But they should engage in austerities by which they can get purified, by which they can develop their love for Krishna and go back to Godhead. So to engage in austerities for the pleasure of Krishna is very auspicious. But again, if one is not satisfied in serving Krishna, then one also loses the ability to engage in austerities, not interested in austerity. And then yasaha means one loses his reputation if one is not satisfied. And it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, for one who has been honored, dishonor is worse than death. So one loses reputation if one is not satisfied in serving Krishna. But if one is satisfied in serving Krishna, then one can advance very quickly in Krishna consciousness. So the whole idea is that we're trying to please Krishna, we're trying to serve Krishna. And sometimes people, they say, well, there's a God, let me see him. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, one should not try to see God, but act in such a way that God wants to see you. So that's by devotional service. If we perform pure devotional service, then Krishna, he's attracted. He's actually captured by this. There's even a nice mention in one purport. Prabhupada says that the devotee, by rendering devotional service, captures the attention of Krishna. Just as when one is walking down a sidewalk, you may smell the fragrance of a flower. Like sometimes you smell these night blooming jasmines; they're so fragrant. So you're walking down and you smell that, and it captures your attention. And Prabhupada says that that the scent is carried by the chariot of the wind. The scent is carried by the chariot of the wind to the scent of the person who smells it. So one gets captured by that fragrance. Yeah. So by the fragrance of devotional service, Krishna is similarly captured. He becomes attracted to that devotion. Unfortunately, now we're captured. We've been captured by the scent of Maya. Unfortunately, this is the problem, and it stinks. Illusion stinks. Devotion is so fragrant, it's so nice, but it appears nice. You know, this Maya appears nice in the beginning. And what does Krishna say? This is happiness in the mode of passion. It appears nice in the beginning, then in the end, it's poison. Yeah, stinks. Illusion stinks. But devotion to Krishna is very attractive, very fragrant. Yeah. So therefore, this is what we're trying to achieve, this devotion to Krishna. And it's there. Actually, this love for Krishna, it's there within everyone. Nitya siddha Krishna prema sajjikavanoi shravanari sudha chitte korya yudoi. That this nitya siddha Krishna prema, this love for Krishna, it's there in the hearts of all living entities. And it comes out by shravanam kirtanam Vishnu. Just like within wood there's fire coming from the sun. It just has to be ignited. But what if the wood is waterlogged? Can you still light it? Actually, you can. But the fire has to be under the wood for a long time. The dampness has to be burned away by the fire. Yeah. So similarly, by hearing and chanting for a long time, Kapila Dev says this to his mother, that by this hearing and chanting for a long time, one becomes free of material attachment. One develops one's love for Krishna. Yeah. Unfortunately, some of us are kind of like Maya-logged. Instead of waterlogged, we're Maya-logged. So much Maya, too much Maya. So therefore it's hard to think of Krishna. But if we continue this process of hearing and chanting for a long time, eventually this Maya will dry up, and this Krishna prema, it'll come out. But we have to be patient. Utsaha nischayadharyat tat tat karma pavartana sangat tyagat satovate sadbir bhaktir pasijiti. Utsaha, we have to be very enthusiastic. Whatever we're doing, be enthusiastic. Prabhupada, devotee asked Prabhupada, I'm not enthusiastic, what should I do? Prabhupada said, just act enthusiastic. Just act enthusiastic. And he said, if you associate with devotees that are enthusiastic, you'll become enthusiastic as well. It's all about enthusiasm. It's like Prabhupada was so enthusiastic to spread Krishna consciousness that devotees, they caught this desire, and they became very enthusiastic, traveling all over the world, preaching Krishna consciousness. Yeah. Book distributors would, during the marathon, sometimes they would stay at the airport all night long, during the marathon. Rent a hotel somewhere. Just become so enthusiastic. It's amazing. Because of the enthusiasm of Prabhupada. And still, devotees are enthusiastic by the association of Prabhupada and reading his books. So enthusiasm, utsaha, nishtaya, dharya, confidence. You should have faith. There was one instance where Prabhupada was in a room in Los Angeles, in his room, and he had many GBC members there sannyasis. And Prabhupada was very grave. He can be very grave. So Prabhupada looked at them all and said, "So, are you convinced?" And it was silence. For like a minute, no one said. And then Prabhupada said, "Well, I am convinced." He had the association of his spiritual master. And of course his father. So, of course he's also a Saktivish avatar. So he convinced so many to give up their material life. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending, so many sinful activities. Gambling, intoxication, meeting, illicit sex, all these things. Because of the purity. Because of the purity of Srila Prabhupada. He was confident. It's interesting, there was one time Prabhupada was in, I think it was in Africa, and one interviewer asked Prabhupada, "So, are you sure what you're teaching is right?" And Prabhupada, he didn't even answer him. He looked at the devotees, said, "I'm traveling all over the world, preaching Krishna consciousness, and this person's asking me if I think I'm right." He thinks he's right, yeah. So Prabhupada didn't even answer. So obviously, Prabhupada's convincing youth all over the world to give their life to Krishna. So he must be 100% convinced. Otherwise, how could so many others follow? Right? He had firm faith in Krishna, firm faith in the holy name of Krishna. Utsaha nishtaya dharya. And we have to also have patience. Yeah. We've embarked on a journey that's not easy. Dorgame putimundasye skalat parat gatirmu swakripa yasidanena santasan bhavalambanam. My path is very difficult. I'm blind. My feet are slipping again and again. Therefore, may the saintly devotees help me by granting me the stick of mercy, of their mercy, as my support. Yeah. So we need the mercy of the devotees. You have to pray for the mercy of the devotees. And it's not an easy journey. We need a lot of help. I think this is spoken by Krishnadas Kaviraj in the beginning of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Now just see the humility. He's such a great Vaishnava. Practically speaking, he was the greatest Vaishnava on the planet. He wrote the Chaitanya Charitamrita, such an exalted. But he said, "My path is difficult. I'm blind." See the humility. My feet are slipping again and again. So humility is so important if we want to advance in Krishna consciousness. And what does humility mean? Prabhupada says in one purport, humility means not desiring the satisfaction of being honored by others. Because we have this false ego, we like to be honored by others. Because of this false ego. But humility means we become free of this false ego and we understand our real identity. What is our real identity? We're the eternal servants of Krishna. This is our true identity. And when we fully realize this, that I'm a little spark, I'm a little soul in a dead body, eternal servant of Krishna, then this humility will come out. It's like the devotion is there, Nityasiddha Krishna famous, so the humility is there as well. We just have to have this understanding of how small we are. We're so small. We're so small we can't even be seen by the most powerful microscope. That's how small we are. Yeah. We're looking at each other's bodies, but this is not who we are. We're the soul within. Very, very minute. How big? How big is the soul? 1/10,000th the size of the tip of a hair. In other words, it can't be measured. Very small. But Krishna is very great. So if we remember the greatness of Krishna, by hearing and chanting, we'll remember the greatness of Krishna. And also, throughout Prabhupada's books, he's explaining how we're the soul. We're very small. So Prabhupada wanted us to wake up in this Krishna consciousness. There's one pastime of Prabhupada. He was walking. He was in a very cold place, somewhere in Scandinavia or somewhere. Maybe it was, that time he was in Switzerland. But he was walking, and he had his cane, and he was breaking little puddles of ice. He would walk and he would break a puddle of ice. And he would walk a few more, and he'd see another, and he'd break the ice. And the devotee with him thought, well, maybe there's some message here. So he asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, is there some meaning behind this breaking these puddles of ice? And Prabhupada said, yes. The nature of water is that it's warm and soft. But because of the association of this cold, it's become hard and cold. So I've come to break this. The nature of the soul is it's warm. So I've come to help people become warm again, soft-hearted, warm and soft-hearted. And he did it to a big degree. He changed the hearts, softened the hearts of so many devotees, from cold-hearted to warm-hearted. This is the result of practicing Krishna consciousness. So is there any question, comment? Yes, Dravida Prabhu. Yes.
It's easy to take the view, like I'm just going to focus on Śukracārya for a minute, because Śukracārya was the priest of Hiraṇyakaśipu, and we know from the pastime with Vamanadev that he was trying to convince Bali not to give him any charity because he'll take everything and all this stuff. So Śukracārya, yeah, he's the very word Shukra means semen, so he's a seminal guru like that. But I was surprised. I mean, in the 10th chapter, Krishna says of Kavis, I am Ushana. And you learn in the purport that Ushana is Śukracārya. Krishna is identifying with him. And here, in next chapter, not next chapter, but in the 10th chapter of this, after the death of Hiraṇyakaśipu and all the prayers of Prahlāda, we learn that when the Lord Nrsimhadev disappeared, and on that day Prahlāda Mahārāja was installed on the throne of the world by Lord Brahma and Śukracārya. So it's in a situation like this is what Krishna consciousness is. You have demons who will get purified, who change. Putana. For my money, she's the worst. Killing babies and drinking their blood, could anything be worse than that? That's her hobby or whatever. But Krishna gave her so much mercy when she suckled his breast trying to kill him, that he gave her a position as a wet nurse in Goloka Vrindavan. It's on the right hand of Yashoda. So how could, as Uddhava says, how could we try to find anyone more merciful than Krishna? So the point is that you can be transformed. You have, just like many of us, demoniac tendencies, eating meat, and but by the contact with the pure devotee, by the holy name, by the process of devotional service, the real nature of the soul can come out, and like that. Anyway, that's...
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you for the class. You said that Srila Prabhupada said when we lose enthusiasm, we should act like we have enthusiasm. And sometimes it is...
Take it away from your mouth a little bit. Take it away from your mouth a little bit. There, that's good, yeah.
Sometimes we try to do it and very difficult, but when we in association of Vaishnavas, then we can, how to say, be contagious by enthusiasm of others.
Yeah, the association of devotees is contagious, yes.
Yeah. And so, how I understand, is most important to be in association and enthusiastic Vaishnavas, yeah?
Yeah, that's the most important. Actually, when Lord Chaitanya, he said, this sadhu sangha, nam kirtan bhagavat shravana mathurava shri mathura sardhaya sevan. These are the 5 most important devotional activities. The first one is association with devotees. Now, how do we associate with devotees? We associate, it's like if someone is senior, then we try to serve them. If someone is a contemporary, we create friendships and serve them also. And someone that's coming that's new, we try to help them in the Krishna concept. That's also service. So it's all about service. So, yeah. Okay. Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you for the class. You were speaking about how Srila Prabhupada didn't have any doubts. And from Bhagavad Gita, we know that doubts, they arise from duality. And that means that until you become a pure devotee, you won't be free from duality, you won't be free from doubts. So in this way, what should be a practical application about when we do encounter doubts in our spiritual life? What should we do right away?
Chant Hare Krishna. Yeah, we have the books. You always have books. These. Actually, what is it? Arjuna says, slash these doubts that they're like demons. So we're coming from a past demoniac life. So contamination is still there. Doubts may still be there. When we're completely free of doubts, all doubts, that means we're pure. Yeah. So naturally, doubts will be there still. But as we continue, like I said, we continue hearing and chanting, then all these doubts and Maya dries up. No more doubts, no more Maya. But as I mentioned, we have to patiently continue on practicing. And gradually we'll see these doubts be removed. Yeah. Let's hear it. He's going to give us a nice verse.
Well, yeah. And I always go back to the 2nd chapter, 1st canto. There's a series of verses, and the last 5 are most famous. Shunvatam Sukada Krishna.
Yeah.
So by hearing about Krishna within the heart, he purifies, right? He's cleansing away all the abhadras. And then your faith becomes stronger. So, and you get to the point of nishta. So the last and the final verse kind of describing the whole thing. Vidyate, vidya grantis, the knots in the heart are cut asunder, meaning that your attachment to this world are cut asunder. Vidyate vidya grantis, chanjante sarva samshaya. All your doubts are cut to pieces. And chiyante chasti karmane, and all your karma is eliminated, and you see the Lord within the heart, and you see yourself also in your original form. That's also part of that verse. In other words, this is perfection, and it's all due to immersing yourself in hearing and chanting, from which all the other processes of devotional service flow.
Yeah, that first verse you mentioned is so actually my favorite verse. Srimbatam svakata Krishna punya shravana kirtana viriyanta soyabadrani virinoti saritam. This answers your question, that Sri Krishna, the personality of God, who is a super soul in the hearts of all humanities, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses the desire from material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee, who simply relishes his messages which are in themselves virtuous and properly heard and chanted. So if we just hear nicely, just read Prabhupada's books nicely, then Krishna is so pleased. He cleanses the heart of all the dust, all the doubts and the contamination. I mean, this is an amazing statement.
One little note. That pamphlet, Reservoir of Pleasure, which millions have been distributed, in the old days. Reservoir of Pleasure. That the heart of that pamphlet is a transcription of a lecture Prabhupada gave on that verse, Srimbatam Sakata Krishna.
Very nice. Okay, yes. Microphone?
It's about devotion. I understand from here that when you do austerities, you're being a devotee, but it is like you say, it don't really matter if you do austerities. You need to be in sangha too, and you need to help others so the devotion can be fulfilled. Or can you be devotee only with one thing or those? Like for example, if I do only austerities, and austerities like staying away from the things that keep me entangled in the world, Yeah. I don't know if that's clear.
So, I don't think I fully got your question.
Yeah, it is about devotion.
Put the microphone closer. There.
It is about devotion.
Yeah.
If I do austerities, I am being devotee?
Yeah, but there's a lot, just like Hiraṇyakaśipu, he did austerities also, but they were for his own purpose, just to conquer the universe. So there's people that are doing austerities for their own sense gratification, but to do austerities for Krishna, that brings out devotion to Krishna. Just like we rise early in the morning to come to Mangalartik. That's an austerity for Krishna. We chant 16 rounds a day. We may not have a taste for the chanting yet, but we do it anyway. It's an austerity for Krishna. And devotees that go out on book distribution, sometimes it's a little difficult. It's an austerity for Krishna. So there's austerity for one's sense gratification, there's austerity for Krishna's pleasure.
Yeah, I'm speaking of this austerity, that I can call it divine austerity.
Divine austerity, yes.
Yeah, I'm calling it this one. So what I'm trying to say is like, do you need various factors, right? So
various
you can,
factors?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's like I'm telling you right now. You need like devotion. You need to chant. You need to go to the books. It is like you cannot be a real devotee if you only do half of it. Is that right?
Yeah, you should go 100%.
Yeah. or not.
He's saying that we have to do many things, not just austerity. Right? That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
So I think he's asking, do we have to do so many things, or can he just do austerity?
Well, for a conditioned soul, practically everything we're doing is an austerity, because the mind doesn't want to do it, but we're doing it anyway. When we become pure, then there's no austerity, right? There's no austerity. You understand?
Yeah, I understand. So I can say that there are levels of devotees.
Yeah.
I can say that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. It's like we have David over here. He's a senior devotee, very respected, and then we have people like me, on the lower level.
I don't know. It's like sometimes I feel like you have to go full or you don't go.
Huh?
You have to go full or you don't go. Like if you do have
Well,
but it's a process, right? It's a
yeah,
process.
it's a process.
It's a process, yeah.
Yeah, you either swim or sink, in one sense. Yeah, either you swim or you sink. But you got to keep swimming. If you stop swimming, what's going to happen? You sink. So you got to keep. Yeah, you got to keep swimming. You got to keep going. You got to stay in the fire.
Yeah. Okay, I have another question. It's about the devotee that is like a dance, and you say that they have fall down. They have fall down from
Yeah.
that top, from their place. It would be harder for them to rise up again. It would be harder, do you think? Or
Well, it'd be very difficult if someone is advanced in Krishna consciousness and then he has some difficulty and falls down. For him to come back up, yeah, it's very difficult. But we have examples. It's like Rameshwar Prabhu. He was a very big leader in our society. He had some difficulty, but now he's picking himself up and he's giving classes and he's on the internet. He's doing quite nicely now. But it's rare for someone to be very advanced, fall down, and then to pick oneself up.
you have to be careful, guys.
Yeah, we had to be careful. We had to be careful. Maya is very powerful. Prabhupada said we have two diseases. One, anybody know the two diseases? Not enough afraid of Maya. Two, we like to change things. Yeah, this is the problem. Huh?
What do you?
Oh.
What was that? Who changed things?
Well, you change things. You know, we'd like to change things. Like Prabhupada came and he set everything up. He said, "Don't change anything. I've set everything up the way it is. Don't change anything." You know, but devotees sometimes they want to change things. Yeah. Like there was one devotee who said, "Prabhupada, you know, this process is so nice. It's so nice, but the problem is we have these 4 regular principles. That makes it difficult for people to join. If we just have 3, it'd be better. Just, you know, no gambling, no intoxication, no meat eating, stop. Stop right there. And then it grows so fast." And Prabhupada said, "No, I'm not interested in having many flickering stars. If we could just have one moon." So he didn't compromise. He said, "Don't change anything. I've given you everything." Okay. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vijaya Krishna Prabhu.
Is there time for a question?
Well, it's a little late. We'll do a quick one.
Yes,
Try.
a very quick one. This is because Dravida Prabhu plays the role. It's obvious, not only because he's I think he's the most senior devotee in the temple room, but also because his philosophical counseling related to questions and answers and the behavior of the speaker on Srimad Bhagavatam related to the day-to-day classes. My question is related to the translation to text 45, where I find that, quote, "When the children are disobedient, the parents chastise them, not due to enmity, but only for the child's instruction and welfare," end quote. So my question is it that in the process of Krishna consciousness, the junior devotees should be afraid of the senior devotees, in the sense that the senior devotees are entitled to chastise the juniors?
Well, I don't know, entitled, but out of compassion, they sometimes want to correct, and to have some fear of the senior Vaishnavas is good. We fear displeasing the senior Vaishnavas, which is good.
Yes.
Just like we have that saying that sometimes people are God-fearing. Now, one Christian gave a nice explanation of that. It's not that we're afraid of God, but we fear displeasing God, which is good. And we should have that also with the senior Vaishnavas. We don't want to displease the senior Vaishnavas, so to have some fear, that's healthy, that's good. And out of compassion, senior devotees, they try to help the junior devotees in their Krishna consciousness.
So
Just don't
healthy
steal.
fear.
Just don't steal Javita's burritos, he says. Is that okay?
What did he say?
He said, just don't steal his burritos.
Of course, I won't.
Or his cookies.
Yes,
Is that okay?
that is okay, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Very
Hare
much.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.